Hello, and welcome to another public class from Holly Tree English. My name is Holly, or Teacher Holly, and this is session 2 of November's conversation class about New Year's and New Year's resolutions. And if you are subscribed to the mailing list for joining, please check your inbox and your spam folder. And you can find the link to join. It should be there for you.
Hi.
There's Rafa. Okay, and Rafa,
Sorry.
we have just started the broadcast, so we are ready to go.
Perfect.
So both of you are back for more torture. Welcome.
Thanks. It's a pleasure. Hit me with the rhythm stick.
It's what?
There is a song I don't remember from an English people. Hit me with a stick.
Oh, so you're saying hit me with an English stick. Nice.
It's a pleasure with you.
Nice. Okay. Whack. Now you're okay. Oh, seriously though. So actually, both of you were present for session 1. So we can change the topic a little bit because I don't want it to be boring for you guys. And if other students join us who were not there for session 1, we can kind of maybe go back to some more of the basic questions. But so just to connect it a little bit with New Year's to start with, and then we can maybe move away if you want. But do you have any favorite New Year's memories, like maybe from when you were a child or something? And let's start with Rafa this time.
Yeah. I have a pretty good, very good memory. When I was 17 years old, it was the first time in evening New Year's evening. There is a costume here that every people go out to hanging out until the next day without sleeping the whole night. When I was 16, it was the first time I went to this kind of party, the whole night dancing and drinking, enjoying with my mates. And it was the first time I kissed, and
Oh
it
my
was so
gosh.
funny. It was so interesting. I felt like right now I am a man. Yeah, it's
Oh
the
gosh.
moment.
Okay.
Not for the kiss, only for the reason that stay out the whole night.
Brother. Yeah. I get it. All right. Akaken, favorite memories.
Yeah, money gift, New Year's money gift. When I was a kid, I think every kid's looking forward to getting it, and usually it's in a small envelope and decorated. Yeah, like kind of tradition, like how can you say, turtle, crane, and bamboo. I think. Yeah. I think people believe turtle and crane live long. So proverb said uh, crane can live 10,000 years, I think, and turtle can live 1,000 years also. So it's some maybe symbolized for the longevity. Also, I don't know the bamboo. I don't. But anyway, these are the symbol of New Year's. days here, so decorated like such kind of thing, and we really were thrilled, to break the envelope to check how much is it. But we didn't do that in
Oh.
front of the person who gave, and after the person came back to the home, or if after we got get to the different room or my room or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think every kids check how much is it or something. And when I
Wow.
was a very small days, my parents, said me, advised me, you can buy one favorite game. At that time, no computer game, a board game. I usually
Uh-huh.
bought a board game. And then my parents advised me, uh, rest of money you should keep, and your children's actually at that time, I think even now, elementary school kind of bankers searching around, or post office officer, uh, you know, uh, collecting around the elementary school to open the account. It's a special account for kids. So in that
Mm.
way, many Japanese kids, how can I say, master, learn how to open banking account or how to save money. So
That's cool.
yeah, I think same custom in Australia. Australia teacher once explained about the same thing. So yeah. Anyway, so I kept saved my money, rest of money to that my account for
Mhm.
children's bank.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that here with like bankers necessarily, but we have what is it? There's a famous guy. His name is Dave Ramsey, and he's a
Mhm.
big financial advisor. And his company has created a thing called Financial Peace Junior, and it's for kids, and it's like stories that teach kids how to handle money, and it has like a little piggy bank thing with sections, and one is for saving and one is for giving, like giving to
Mhm.
church or
Ah,
giving
okay. Mhm.
to others, and the parents are advised to ask their children to do chores and give them an allowance or pay them for
Mhm.
chores so they can learn how to handle money.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. So in such way, kids can master how to handle the money. Yeah,
Mhm.
actually,
Mhm.
yes.
I think it's great.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um yeah, so my favorite memory, I have a lot of good memories, and actually there are two that are kind of important, I guess. So, does everyone remember? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're too young. I don't know. The Y2K scare.
Mhm.
The
What did you
way.
say? What?
The Y2K scare. So, there was the idea, at least in the US, it was a big thing that when the year 2000 came, that all the
Ah,
computers would stop.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember
and they
too.
called it Y2K.
I
And
see.
I
Okay.
was a teenager at that time. I was about to turn 16.
Mm.
Yeah, I was about to turn 16. And there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of nervousness, a
Mm.
lot of anxiety, different words to, about
Mm.
what was going to happen um, when the computers shut down, or maybe
Mm.
they wouldn't. It was all crazy. And
Mm.
we had a little party at my house. We had a few friends over from church, and we lived in the country, so we were allowed to have fireworks.
Mm.
You where I live, you can't have fireworks in the city except maybe on 4th of July, but I'm not quite sure about that. Um, In the US, it depends on the state. Some states, they don't have such a law, but here they do. So we had fireworks, and I remember that at the exact time the year 2000 came, 12 midnight, I was sharing some Celtic music. I was listening to Celtic music with one of our friends, and I was wondering if the tape recorder, yes, I'm that old, if the tape was going to stop, if the cassette was going to stop because the stereo had a computer in it, you know. And I remember being I was so surprised and relieved and when it didn't stop.
The world continues.
Exactly, exactly.
That's
And now
great.
we have cell phones that can fit in one hand, you know. You know, it's like one of those things. Every generation, at least in the US, has this, where were you when this thing happened? So we have, in the US, we have, where were you when 9/11 happened or when you heard about it? And where were you when Y2K, when the year 2000 came?
I remember that at that time, many I accessed to internet when the after Windows 98 released.
Oh,
Yeah, so 2 years later, so yeah, but I still remember a lot of it, news, saying about that. Yeah,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So was it a big thing in Japan? Were the Japanese
yeah,
people worried?
totally. Because
Mm-hmm.
after the maybe internet is almost started Windows 95,
Yeah.
when the 95 released. But that at that time, I just bought a second-hand computer, which doesn't couldn't access to the internet. So, and I just using computer for writing and Excel kind of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah, internet became big until the Windows 98 released. It, it was a big news here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember we had an Apple, and then when we got a Windows computer, Windows 2000, it ran Windows 2000. No, it ran Windows ME. Yeah, it was my mom's computer, and it was running Windows ME, and it had a 40 gig. No, I think a 30 gig hard drive.
Yeah, my computer was like that. Maybe
Impressive.
less than that.
Yeah, yeah. Rafa, where were you? Like, what was happening in Spain for Y2K? Was everyone nervous?
Was I think is what the saying when this happened. Also, the people was very afraid about what it could happen with the bank account, because also every account was in the computer, and the people said, "Ah, my money far away, could be disappeared
Oh
due
gosh,
to."
I know. Yeah, give me everything in cash, leave $3 in your account and just have all. Yeah.
Continues on the line. I was very surprised in 2012 when there were see, in the Maya culture, in the Maya from
Oh
Peru,
yeah.
about the end of the world. Not terrific, because many people thought in the 2012 the end of the world is becoming the 24th. I don't remember. And people,
Yeah.
did you heard about it?
Yeah, I heard about it. It was a movie, but my like most of my family is at least especially all of my immediate family, that means like my siblings and everyone, we're all Christians. So we didn't even really think about it very much because we believe that the world will end when God decides it's going to end, and He's not telling anybody when that is. So
Who knows? Who knows?
exactly. So we just, we just said whatever. Maybe it will end in 2012, maybe not, and that's not our decision to worry about or make. So
It's what think perfect.
oh brother, yeah, it was a movie here, 2012 or something like that. Oh brother.
Yeah. But it was based in Maya prophecy from
Yeah,
Peru.
that
And
I did know about Mayan prophecy. Yeah.
it was interesting. But the world continues, fortunately.
Yeah, it's almost 2017.
Yeah, almost.
Hmm. In 2012, I was still getting my master's degree so I could teach. What were you doing in 2012, Ken?
2012, 2012, oh, 2012?
Hmm.
That means 2000? Oh, I got
Yeah,
confused.
2012.
2012, last,
4 years ago.
4 years ago. I was, I was in, grad school. Yeah.
Ah, you were in grad
Yeah.
school too. Okay.
Yes, yes. I confused the year. I thought it was about 2000. Yeah. Yeah. But,
No, no, no. 2012, usually
yeah,
when
right.
we
Exactly.
get, we say 2009, and then after 10, we start 2010, 2011, 2012. Some people
Okay.
will say 2002. It really depends on who is speaking, but they mean the same thing.
Okay. It became regular counting again, like
Yeah,
1962 or okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see. I got it.
Rafa, what were you doing in 2012?
In 2012, I was working as I always do. Um, 2012,
Okay.
28, 20, 29, 20, 2015, always the same stuff. Pretty interesting, but as far as I can remember, 2012 was the same. And also, perhaps I saw, when you were talking about heaven and the end of the world, I was thinking, if I may, uh, about, if I may say, about one interesting movie from is the Heaven. Heaven is for real. I don't know if you have
Oh,
heard
Heaven
about it.
is Real. I haven't seen it, but I need to watch it. Yeah, yeah. I think my parents
Yeah,
have seen it.
it's interesting if you can hear, because it's a pretty nice story about one little child for 15 minutes, and he goes to the heaven. He went to the heaven or something like that, and later he told to his parent, I was in the heaven. And that it's a pretty nice story about.
Yeah, it's based on a true story. I haven't seen that movie, but I have watched a few YouTube videos about people who talk about dying and going to heaven or also to hell.
Yeah,
And
and the hell, I never heard
yeah,
about
so
that. It's interesting.
it's very kind of scary actually. Um, those videos, but yeah, Heaven is Real. I need to watch
There
it.
is
I need to see if it's on Netflix.
there is a book, and, with the story of this child, and also how he joined another girl with the same experience, and he saw different drawings and paintings about Christ and how they feel. It's interesting. If you can read about it or listen to the movie, could be interesting.
Yeah, I think my father read the book, or he read about the book. Yeah, almost positive. He read the book because my uncle had the book. That's right. My uncle was reading it, and then I think my father did. Have you seen that movie, Ken?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this year I rented the DVD and I watched it. Yeah, I remember that.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, it is a nice movie, and the image of the, how can I say, house also very beautiful. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
image of the, yeah, and kind of, I'm not sure about my religious background is Buddhism and Shintoism,
Mm-hmm.
and especially Buddhism. Shintoism doesn't have a reincarnation, but Buddhism they do have a concept of reincarnation. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to tend to believe the reincarnation kind of thing, and kind of uh, in a simplified version, it is explained if in the next life, if I maybe every life has a task to achieve, and I mean to to enlighten. So maybe next life I have to learn another thing. If it is failed, maybe I rebirth the kind of could be an insect or animal or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if I can live
Be
this
careful.
life, then I can rebirth as a human too. Maybe yeah, maybe that's kind of thing is yeah strong in my mind or yeah probably yeah.
I see. I see. Yeah. And if you are a Christian, at least not every Christian is the same, but basically, um, we believe that there was, of course, that Christ died on the cross. I think most people know this as Christians, and that he came back from the dead 3 days later, and that these actions, basically were necessary because people sin, they do bad things. And so it's kind of a similar idea of the fact that sins need, there's a price if you mess up, basically, that there's a price. But in Christianity, someone has paid that price for you instead of you having to pay that price, because um, that, but also the idea is that you have to accept that fact, or it doesn't belong to you, or it doesn't go for you. If you don't accept the fact that he did it, then if you don't believe it, then you have a problem. So it's different. It's very different, very different, and you get very often more than one chance, but not in more than one life. You often get more than one chance, but in the same life, to accept that fact. And so it's once in a while you have a situation like in Heaven is Real, where he died and he was able to come back, because in general, of course, we believe that you live one life, but God is powerful enough to do whatever he wants, so he can send you back if it's not your time to be there yet. So, and I assume, forgive me if I'm wrong, Rafa, that your background is in Catholicism, that sort of
Yeah,
area of
that's right.
Christianity?
Christian Catholic. Yeah, my background is Catholicism and Christian, but for a while with this topic, there is another TV series about child is from United States. It's about from child who reborns, who say to their parents, I I don't call Peter as you are calling me right now. I was called John. John, why do you say that? Because in another life I was a soldier in the fields of California, and the parents in this TV show is amazing. The parents go to California and try to happen there in this situation, and finally they find that it's true child is telling about in some cases. And there is people who believe in reincarnation. This is the possibility of had been reincarnated in other person, but it's a controversial issue talking about religion.
Very controversial, yeah. And I have my own thoughts about why that has happened, but yeah. So it's very it's a topic that, how do I say, like, to sort of explain in the public classes, I'm of course not opposed to talking religion. We like each other, you know. We know each other a little bit. We like each other. In the public classes, I tend not to talk about it too much because I'm not ashamed of being a Christian. I'm not ashamed of it. I won't hide it. But it's not, I don't want to force it either. I don't want to start something. You know what I mean? I don't want to start an argument. It's very easy to do that. So accidentally, because some people might come to class and some people might come to class who are very uncomfortable with such a topic. And so, you know, of course, I'll tell you, that's why, you know, you don't see usually in the conversation classes, you don't see political or religious topics, just because it has the possibility of starting something, and I want people to be relaxed. I want it to be safe. But at the same time, if you want to tell, like, you know, Ken, you told your belief that you tend to believe in reincarnation, or you tend to think that way, and that's fine. I can't force you, and I wouldn't force you to believe the way I believe, even if, you know, you, how do I say, to be perfectly truthful, that I believe Christianity to be the truth.
Maybe
You know,
modern Japanese mind or society, religion is not so kind of, how can I say, it's not so powerful actually. Many people
I've
believe in
heard that.
spirituality, but
Hmm.
you know, in American politicians often speak about religion on the political campaign,
Hmm.
or you know, president, you know, make a vow on the Bible, on the but that's kind of thing never ever happen in Japanese politics or
Hmm.
public. And but one thing some people mentioned about Japanese do believe about Japaneseness. It's almost like a religious dogma, you know. If you are Japanese or if you are living Japanese, you
Mm.
should do like that. Or such kind of peer pressure is very strong. So
Uh-huh.
some people
To be
point that out.
Japanese is to do this thing. Yeah,
Right. So it's
got it.
often easy to connect exclusiveness of the society. So I don't like it, but
Hmm.
kind of every nation has a different feeling about religion. Or also in the past, religion connects to political power, you know. So maybe now constitution separates religion and power, but
Yeah,
actually,
actually, our Constitution doesn't do that. That's
I
something
see.
that people have misunderstood over the years, that our Constitution doesn't separate religious and political life. What it does say, um, and I have read this, so I have read the actual wording. So basically, it says that the government shall make no law respecting, meaning giving importance to any religion over any belief over another. So this whole idea of saying that it means that everyone has to be separate and that a politician shouldn't tell their religion and blah, blah, that's not in the Constitution.
I see.
That is not in the US Constitution.
Uh-huh.
But what it does mean, though, is that, for example, they cannot make a law in the United States that says if you are a Catholic, then you have to pay a fine. If you are a Protestant, then you have to, I don't know, do this thing. If you are a Buddhist, then you get lower wages. You can't do that. You know. I'm trying to give a lot of examples because I'm trying not to single anyone out, okay?
Yeah, and how can I say? Maybe it's rare to ask somebody else a religion here because Japanese said it's very homogeneous society.
Uh-huh.
Almost all people's background are same. You know, that's one thing. Also, people don't realize, what's the difference about, for example, Shintoism, Buddhism coexisted 2,000 years. So people, Japanese people cannot distinguish which is Buddhism, which is Shintoism. They just think that they are the traditional. Such. But from the Western people's view, we believe two religions at the same time. It's not maybe Western religions concept, but it's natural for us. But the problem is, it's okay to do that in the Japanese way, but sometimes we lost the perspective from Western religious concept because a lot of Western people or Muslim people or different religion people are living in Japan, but they don't realize that how they are thinking or they are believing or such kind of thing. Yeah.
How it's different. Yeah. So basically in the US also, if like the three of us, we don't know each other very well, and so in general, we wouldn't ordinarily have a discussion like this. And that's kind of why, we're saying, some people believe this or some people believe that. And it's kind of, we're discussing it very more generally. If we were friends, I would maybe use different words. In my culture, I would use different words. I would use maybe different language, or I would talk about it more deeply. But in US culture, to ask a stranger, someone you don't know or that you don't know very well, about their religion is more or less a no-no. It's also a no-no to ask them about their politics.
I see.
Yeah, it's so this is actually a good discussion for learning about it culturally. And so when you are, for example, in the checkout line, you usually don't hear people talking about religion or anything like that. Once in a while, you might hear an older person say something about politics. I have heard that before. Someone who's annoyed with, I can remember, I forget what he said, but there was somebody in the checkout line with us talking to the cashier, and he said something about the way politics were going, and the cashier said something to us about it and stuff. So it actually started a political discussion in the checkout line. So what about in Spain? Can you ask about religion or politics can you talk about that with someone you don't know?
No, if you don't know, it's the same in the United States. But with friends or with relatives or with people more joined to you, issue to discuss, more than discuss, to share with others, because I think it's so hard, important feeling in your life that you need to share with your relatives, your friends, your close friends, and things like that. But saying, here in Spain, political issues is on the street all the time. You can go to the political and soccer issues, talks about politics on the street, at the supermarket. Right now we have had elections, and people is talking about the right party, the left party, and who is better, and about soccer politicians.
Sounds familiar.
Perhaps it's the national sport to complain.
Oh yeah.
Complain
Oh, yeah.
is the big sport.
Maybe we should have
Complaining.
it as part of the Olympics. Who can complain about their government the best?
For sure. And it's the most international sport.
Oh,
Complaining
mercy.
about everything.
Yeah, not only the
Complain
government. So it's complaining. So not only the government. Let's complain about the economy. Let's complain about
internet, about the 2012, complaining about everything. People
complain
enjoy
about how
complaining.
stupid Hollywood is. No,
That's the point. This is the most important thing, complaining. And it's difficult to manage, because you go to talk with someone and he's complaining.
Okay, so if we all did it,
Oh my
we
God.
we have Spain, we have Japan, and we have the U.S. right here. So Ken,
Mhm.
why do you think
Mhm.
why do you think Japan might win the gold medal if we had a sport of complaining? Do you think Japan would win the gold medal, and why?
I saw a lot of people like complaining on the internet these days. You know, Uh, I think there's a power. There's a two power. One is a positive power, and one is positive, also negative power. Sometimes negative power is very, very, very kind of powerful or in people's mind. So after the internet, access to internet, gradually I began to notice that. So I tend to keep apart from such negative power of internet. Actually, it's endless, and it's okay to listen to or discuss in the positive criticism, but people just criticize or harsh argument for the argument for argument. Also, some argument totally unintellectual nonsense, just telling lie or kind of thing. So I tend to keep apart from, I keep away from such information on the internet. Actually,
Okay, but the question is
Mhm,
Japanese society in general, is
mhm,
there a tendency to complain? So if
uh-huh.
complaining was a national sport,
I see.
would Japan win the gold medal or not?
Japanese, it is said Japanese society is, as I said, peer pressure is very strong.
Hmm.
Also, hierarchy. You know, there's
Hmm.
no clear hierarchy like in the past, but still hierarchy in the society or workplace.
Hmm.
So, uh, to lead atmosphere is very important. That's why many Japanese don't speak so loudly, but it's actually up to the individual. Some Japanese are very talkative, but speak up, you know, complaining a lot. But usually people tend to speak quiet on public, just complaining behind. Oh my gosh, what is that? But yeah, maybe such tendency. This society has such tendency. But it's
Uh,
society is changing. It's people is much more freer or more open speaker or a lot of issue too at the same time.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so would Spain win the gold medal? If so, why?
For sure. Because
Okay,
we live
why?
in
Why do you think Spain?
we live in the Mediterranean area. We come from the Latin, from the Italian people, from Rome. In Rome, in Rome, the most important thing is ancient Latin was part of doing nothing. You need to you need to know how to do nothing.
Oh no. And then others complain about you when you do nothing if you're in government, right?
That's the way to be a successful
Okay, I
governor.
understand the
Do nothing.
Spanish society now. Cool. No.
I am making an exaggeration, but
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah. I
In
get it.
Italian people said the dolce far niente. The dolce far niente is the doing nothing, and I think it's the the common sense in the Mediterranean area. Try to get how to do nothing and enjoy, only complain.
Oh my
Every
god.
topic you can find. Complaining about
Oh
the
my
weather,
gosh.
complaining about the radio station, the TV shows, complaining about the government. It's pretty interesting. You need to improve your capacity of complaining if you come to Spain.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm
So
joking.
maybe
I'm
the
joking.
US wouldn't win, but I think we would at least win silver because in the US we complain, and it's unfortunate. It's a sad thing to say about my country, and you have to understand that I love my country. I really do. And there is a lot of good in this country. I think you weren't here, Rafa, but what is it? Ken, we were asking each other questions, and he asked me to name things that I love about my country. And one thing about my country is that we're very, we have the reputation of being very materialistic and selfish. But when, to use the expression, when push comes to shove, when there's a need, when things are needed, Americans can be very giving and helpful.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, giving aid to countries that have national disasters. If it's not the government giving aid, people start up charities. Private citizens here start up charities. I was watching a video last night, and it was a newscast actually, and they were showing there's a foundation it was started because of 9/11. And now they're giving to other causes because, of course, 9/11 was 15 years ago. But my gosh, sometimes that still blows me away to think about. But the point is that very giving, but unfortunately, there's also this lack of contentment. And so there is a tendency to complain, or to at least want things to be better, to see that things could and should be better. So we might complain about politics, or we might complain about the economy, complain about lifestyle, complain about whatever. And it's really sad. I mean, we're laughing about this being a national sport, but the sad truth is humans have a tendency to complain. It doesn't matter what country you're from, or whether you do it quietly or loudly. You have to admit, humans have a tendency to complain.
Yeah, I think all humor has a emotion, feeling. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's related to humans always think it could be better, could be more strong, things could be happier. ambitious project in our minds, and always have this tendency to think everything could be better. For this reason, the fact, what we are saying is not enough sufficient, not, and we need to complain because always thinking heaven. Heaven is when you were become die, but
Yeah.
we think in heaven could be perfect, but no. The world, the real life is with always have defect, but we think in another perspective. We thinking could be better always. Is my thought about.
And if you think about it, we're usually, when we're saying could be better, very often we're thinking about our own lives or our own selves, or, something to do with us. And I'm not, criticizing any culture over another, really. I think it's a human thing. It's a part of human nature, if you will. But the the cool thing is that if we have complaining as a national sport, I think we could also add the national sport of charity, because I think a lot of countries are can be very giving in their own way, and so.
Also, Spain is very giving. There are many research about who in Europe is the country that giving more, and Sweden perhaps is the first, and Spain could be the second, even though we are poorer than Swedish people, but we are very helpful with people, with immigrants, with very giving, if I can say too. This is another important thing. And also, if we are going to talk about how proud about my country, I think my country is pretty nice to live in. We enjoy with everything. We have this kind of joy of the life, and it's pretty interesting because life is hard to deal with it. Life is very hard to deal with it, and we have a very good sense of humor to deal with different situations. Could be another point.
Okay, so Japanese culture, giving, hospitable.
I think as a foreign year, Japanese government promised a lot of foreign aid, and it's good, I think. But it's a matter of balance. Now, Japanese economy is not so good, but Prime Minister just promised a lot of aid to foreign countries. But actually, many people suffered economically nowadays in Japan. So also government would spend huge amount of budget for Olympic Games. They broke the first promise. At the first plan, they said it's a kind of minimum budget Olympic game, but that minimum budget expanded huge amount of budget now. So kind of currently Japanese society lost its balance actually, and but when the earthquake happened, many people donate for the earthquake, and people do have a mind of charity here too. Also, physical charity too. Many youngsters go to the devastated area to rescue people, to help people, both the kind of economically or physically, mentally. And do have such mind, and also at that time we got a lot of foreign aid too. So I feel really appreciate for that. So human do have a tendency of being to give something to charity, to volunteer something.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's one part of human nature. So, human has a lot of different aspects. Yeah, yeah.
So, if you had money, here's
Mhm.
an interesting question, and
Mhm.
I'm ready to answer it as well.
Mhm.
If you had some extra money to give to charity,
Mhm.
um, where, if I may ask, I hope this isn't too personal a question, where would you give it?
Mm, maybe I don't know so many projects that what's going on in the
Mm-hmm.
world, but I've heard of the foster children project. It's a long time project. UN, I think I forgot the organization, but we can know maybe our donation actually reach to the people. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
part of donate that project.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So you
Mhm.
can't think of any specific organizations right now?
Yeah, no specific organization right now,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's okay.
yeah, foster foster project. I'm not sure the exact English, but the people donate to the one child who suffered economically abroad,
Oh, that's,
and
oh
they
yeah, yeah.
receive a letter from the kids.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a kids
Compassion
project.
International actually is one that was
I
going to be
see.
on my list.
Okay.
Is one of those one such, they are Christian based, which basically means that you know they do it because they believe it's in the Bible to help others, and they do tell the children about Christianity, but of course they don't force them to accept that. But they do tell them about Christianity. But the main mission is the main mission is, of course, to help them have a better life. And so someone in the States pays money and the money is used to take care of the child, and you get pictures and letters, and um, it's very cool. Rafa, can you answer?
If I had an extra money, I'll donate to Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa I am deeply fan of her and
Oh, her organization.
her,
Mhm.
her own organization. Um, Many times, if I had money or an extra money, this organization that help here people of the city have I think nice see to the moms could be moms from Mother Teresa, so humble, so giving, also with different nationalities, giving all of them to the poor people, and I am
Mhm.
pretty I admire this position in life.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, Mother Teresa. I have a lot of respect for her as well. When she, what she did when and what she started when she was alive. And I'm sure that's a good organization. I think Aka Ken brings up a good point as far as like making sure that you give to a cause and give to an organization where you know the money is actually going to
Mhm.
the to help the people that you help. And I would imagine very strongly that Mother Teresa's
Mhm.
organization would be such. On my list, I actually have several on my list, but so I'll just say a couple. Compassion International, you know about. I would love to be able to sponsor a child. This is called, yeah, sponsoring. It's basically where you are assigned to help a child and your money goes to help a child. They have a very good reputation for actually using the money wisely. Um, and what? Another one that I would love to give to is Guide Dogs for the Blind. I would especially like to give to some organizations that have helped me personally, have been involved in my life. So Guide Dogs for the Blind would be one of them. That is the school, the organization that trained my service dog. So there's that one. And if I had enough, like if I were able to give to my whole list and then I had enough left over, there's another service dog organization that I would like to give to because they have helped a friend of mine, and that is Companion Canines, Companion something International, no, CCI, I forget the exact name, but it's basically dogs that help people who are in wheelchairs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they train dogs to help people who are in wheelchairs, and I made a friend in college. We aren't like super good friends, but you know, we have done things together, and she has helped me take my dog to the vet, and she has a dog that looks like Ajax. People in college used to ask us if our dogs were related. So, yeah, my dog who has been snoring for the whole class. Yeah, this has been an interesting conversation. I had no idea it was going to go in all of these directions, but that's what a conversation does, right?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's kind of natural conversation, yeah, chat. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
with our Spaniard who knows how to complain, U.S. citizen who's who loves her country, and a talkative Japanese.
Yeah, if I want to talk about like women.
Like, oh, you had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, I like talking, yeah, chatting, yeah, actually.
I saw a TED talk in a nutshell 2 days ago about how to be a very good conversationalist,
Conversationalist.
And one of
Nice.
the most important thing was listen, first of all, and later go with the flow. Talk about what is going to happen in your mind in that moment and share with the others. And I think this is a example of a conversational in English class.
Yeah, this is an example of a conversation lesson, and you know, it's I think it was good because, like I said, you know, as far as like all the different topics, and actually, it's about time to end the broadcast. I want to thank you too for joining me. It was very interesting and very fun to talk and laugh with you guys, and I think Spain will win the gold medal for the 2020 Olympics.
Yeah,
For the national
at
sport
the
of
end,
playing.
one medal. We have.
Are you going to
one
be the
medal
first
at
on the
least.
team?
Yes, I want. Athletic.
With your tongue?
Of course. I need to improve my pronunciation.
Yeah, that's another thing is which language would we have to complain in, or would we have to get translators?
Funny.
You know, maybe I should do that as a public class where everyone has to bring two things to complain about. They have to do it in
It's
English,
impossible.
and we have to decide who's the best complainer in English.
There is not only two. Oh my God.
Well, just in case, like, because this morning we had six students in class, so we need to give everyone time to complain. And of course, I can, shut up and not complain about anything and let everyone else do the complaining. And I'll be the judge to decide who's the best English complainer.
One question, if I may. Have you classes of 6 in your web page?
No,
So-
the largest group class I have is 4. The reason I posted that poll, I know what you're asking. The reason I posted that poll
Yeah.
is that I'm considering creating a paid product or service that's very similar to the public classes, or it would be 3 days a week. So Monday would be conversation class, Wednesday would be a game, and Friday would actually be a class on 1 or 2 idioms or phrasal verbs, and we would practice using them, culture things. But it's sort of in the idea stage, so I haven't really said too much about it, because I enjoy doing things like this, but I really can't do it a whole lot. I can't do it more than I already do for free, because my dog needs to eat, and so do I. Maybe.
And take a walk.
What did you say?
And your dog needs to take a walk.
Yeah, he needs to take a walk. I
sure.
don't need money for taking a walk, but I do need money to feed him. So.
Money, always the same.
Well, it's like,
Let's go
I'm
to
not trying
complain
to
about
sound
money.
greedy, but this is how I make my living. It's kind of like I have to find that balance. So.
Maybe the people tend to focus on the difference, but I think the world is much similar than we think, actually.
I agree. The world is a
Yeah.
lot more similar than, yeah, I agree.
Similar problem and a similar complement or similar feeling and emotion. Yeah.
Similar ideas, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humans are humans. That's very true.
Right. Exactly.
Humans are humans. But yeah, I'm considering in the idea stage it would be, but what would happen is I haven't figured out exactly how, but like for the public classes, you come to class and that's it. You come to class for the time, and that's basically all you get is the class time. But if I charge for it, I will provide some sort of extra support. The classes will maybe be more structured. I will do something to make it something that's worth actually paying some money for. So I will add value. That's what we call it, adding value.
Yeah, I think that's totally makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. But for anyone who's worried public classes are not going away, if that happens, it will be something that happens during the week. And yeah, as part of my webpage. But to answer your question more fully, Rafa, I offer mostly private lessons, but I also offer group lessons if people need to save a little money and they have a friend that they want to study with, or let's say you and Ken both wanted to take lessons from me. We might be able to arrange something where I teach you both as a group, because you are at similar enough levels. We could make it work, and and your personalities go together well. So we could set you two up as a group, for example. And those are up to 4. And of course, the larger the group, the more money you save.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to shut up now and turn off the broadcast because it's nighttime for both of you and it's lunchtime for me and I'm hungry. So
Okay. Bon appetit.
Thank you very much. Have a nice
Thank you
day.
very much.
thank you.
Bye.
Been a pleasure.
Bye.
I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.